Today we have a little different kind of video for you. I'm going to be going over some of the most popular aquarium fish in the hobby and ranking them on a tier system. Now, this is my opinion, so you may differ, you may agree, you may get triggered. Let me know in the comments down below, but let's get started. This was an idea I got from idubbz, who did a fast food version. Not sure if you saw that. I'm a big fat kid at heart, so definitely got inspired by that. I'm going to be ranking these fish kind of on how they look. For the barb, you know, I think I like the orange and black. The behavior, it's sold as kind of a community fish, but it can be a little nippy. I think it's about a C in my opinion. It doesn't need a huge tank, so it's not a hard ease of use. But in my opinion, for a community tank, it kind of limits you. So it's an average fish. Next, let's go with a fan favorite, the Oscar fish. Now, Oscar, another fish, pretty popular. This one gets kind of big. You really, I mean, it's kind of the albino, one of my favorite color combinations. It's a personable fish. Can be a little ornery though. I'm going to put it at a D. I don't hate this fish. It does need a lot of space, so the ease of care is not the easiest because it takes up a good amount of space and it limits what you can keep with it. So I'm going to stick it at a D because I don't think it's a great beginner fish, and you know, I think it's personal, but you're going to need to dedicate like a 55 gallon to one or a 75 plus for a pair. Let's see, what else do we have here? Corydoras. Okay, Corydoras. Now, I kind of combine all cories into one. Now, there's a ton of different cories. You'll find with other species I did stuff similarly. Corydoras is one of my favorite bottom fish. I think they're great for a community fish. They're not going to bother much at all. I think it's a solid A. You know, depending on the species, some are a little more rare, a little more expensive, but most cories you can get in pretty cheap. I think it's a solid A fish, whether you're a beginner or an expert. I've been in the hobby for years. Let's take a look at a fish that I kept, or I've been keeping recently, the clown loach. Another kind of favorite, a little pricier, has a little more harder to take care of. Likes a little more of the warmer water. I'm going to stick it right at about a C. I really like these guys. They're personable. They're a little shy, but they're going to need a decent sized tank. They look really cool, but I think they're at about a C. Let's see, what else do we have here? Where do we go next? I'm thinking convict cichlids. Let's check out convict cichlids. Where do we have cichlids? Now, so far we got the Oscar at a D. I don't hate all cichlids, but convict cichlids, they're at about a D2. They breed a ton, but it's almost like not in a good way, you know. So breeding is something that I'm into, and ease of breeding, and I'll factor in a little bit. In my opinion, they're not an ugly fish, but there's a lot more attractive fish out there. Yeah, in my opinion, there's just a lot better. If you're into cichlids, there's better options, from my opinion. And you know, for community fish and stuff, they're not going to fly with them. So you know, most of the time, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but overall, convict cichlids, eh. Okay, let's give something some love. I don't want to be a super hater. Let's give something some love. Bristlenose plecos are going to get some love from me. Bristlenose plecos, another bottom feeder fish. I don't know if they're going to be an A like a Corydora. Maybe they're an S tier. No. Solid B for the bristlenose. I think they're a great cleaner fish, although that's a whole other video. Don't buy them as a cleaner fish. They'll take care of a little bit of algae, but they're a great, you know, bottom dwelling fish. You can breed them. They're going to need some space. One or two in a 29 gallon tank is plenty. They're coming in a different variety of colors and stuff, so you know, you can find one that you like. They don't get huge. They're pretty peaceful, so I think solid B for sure. Let's go right back to another pleco, the common pleco. This honestly F tier, straight up just F tier. Common pleco, they get monstrous. You know, if you like big plecos, in my opinion, there's prettier ones that get big. Sure, they're cheap. If you're buying something just to kind of, you know, be a tank cleaner, this is not what you want. I don't want to get into it all here, but you know, common pleco, in my opinion, that you could do better. You know, in my opinion, probably shouldn't even be sold in the hobby. What else is next? Angelfish. Angelfish, another cichlid. Are they going to be, we're going to continue this trend of the D tier for the cichlids? I don't think so. I think angelfish are going to hit C tier. A lot of variety, fairly easy to breed. They're a cichlid, so they do have some aggression, but you can have some success with them kind of in a community tank. So I think they're a solid C tier. In my personal experience, you know, I've had angelfish that were just bullies to each other, and they were breeding, beating each other up, and it wasn't really, you know, peaceful to watch. Although I think done correctly in the right setting, you get some angels, you grow them out, you get some pairs, or you kind of, you know, you get the planted tank set up perfectly. Angels are a great fish, but they do have some shortcomings. They need, you know, decent sized tank. So I think C tier is a good spot for them. Let's jump back to the community fish and check out probably the most popular fish in the hobby, and that'll be the neon tetra. The neon tetra, schooling fish, really popular, not that cheap. Kind of that iridescent blue and red. This fish is a solid B. You know, fairly hardy fish. Once you get them acclimated, sometimes at the fish store, you know, maybe they haven't quarantined them. But once you get them going, peaceful, really good staple in the hobby, good for a beginner or an expert. Let's kind of compare them directly and go back to back with the Cardinal Tetra. My opinion, Cardinal Tetra, maybe a 40-inch slip. Nah, I'm going to give the Cardinal Tetra the slight edge. I like the fact they get a little bigger bodied. They are pricier, although I've seen the prices coming down. I've seen them under $4 fairly frequently. And you know, the fact that the blue and the red stripe go the whole length of the fish, they get a little fatter, is, in my opinion, a big difference. You know, visually, they're not easy to breed, just like the neon tetras. But in my opinion, that's the school of them. You really can't go wrong either way. But Cardinal Tetra, I give it the slight edge. Let's talk about some cichlids again. Let's go with this is representing kind of like peacocks and haps, African cichlids. I kind of divvy the African cichlids up into 3 groups. We'll jump into them here. For the peacocks and haps, man. I'm going to go D or C for peacocks and haps. I think they're cool. I haven't personally kept them for that long. I've had them for a month or 2 here or there. When I bought a tank and kind of seeing how they felt with me. They never really grew on me too much. I just feel like it's really hectic. You know, I love the colors of peacocks and haps. They get monstrous. You're going to need some big tanks. You're probably going to go through a lot of aggression issues. It can be fun. You know, I'm not trying to hate on them too much. I mean, C tier to me is not a bad tier. But I will think that Mbuna are one up them. I'll put Mbuna in the B tier. If you guys have been following the channel, you know that I have a 55-gallon Mbuna tank. I found that a 55-gallon, not a huge tank, Mbuna do well in there. Once again, you're going to have some aggression, no doubt about it. But I think they're a better overall fish for my needs. So I think they get the slight edge. And we'll just kind of round out the African cichlids and go with this is a frontosa, but this is kind of representing Lake Tanganyika cichlids. So once again, you have shell dwellers. You have, you know, Julie Chromis, you have Frontosa, Lulupe. Clearly, there's a lot in here, but I put Lake Tanganyika cichlids at an A. I think it's overstated how much difficult the care is. So I feel like, you know, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful. Frontosas are big cruisers. The Lulupe I have are just, you know, beautiful, kind of a mid-sized fish. Shell dwellers, if you're not familiar with them, check them out. Definitely. All these species individually, in my opinion, are worthy of an A tier. So collectively, you know, as Lake Tanganyikans, especially the ones that I'm mentioning, A tier without a doubt. Let's talk about some guppies. Guppies, oh man, guppies. I'm not a huge fan of guppies in the fact that, like, I don't breed them. I don't have tons of them. I have a few here and there. However, I do think that guppies are A tier. Guppies are gorgeous. There's so many strains. They're prolific. You know, you can breed them. Usually, they do it by accident. So, in my opinion, guppies A tier. You know, without a doubt. Maybe if you don't have hard water, it's going to be a little more difficult to keep them, but usually pretty easy to keep also. Let's check out. Check out goldfish. Goldfish, this is, I kind of broke up goldfish into this goldfish and koi. So this kind of representative of, you know, common goldfish and all the fancy varieties with the boobly eyes and crap. Goldfish, in my opinion, E tier. I'm not gonna lie, not a huge fan of goldfish. And one of the big reasons why is koi, because koi exists. You know, I guess there is some goldfish that are kind of cool looking, but in my opinion, you know, if you're gonna keep them in a home tank, you're gonna need to dedicate a decent amount of space. I would much rather keep, you know, any number of species than a goldfish in a tank. If we're talking about a pond, sure, I think goldfish seems like a cool idea for a pond if koi didn't exist, but koi exists, and I'm gonna put koi at B tier. I think koi are awesome. For a long time, I've wanted a big pond. I wanted to retire and have like a big property with a pond, but I think we're going to speed that up and get a pond here in the backyard. And may do koi, may do something else. I can tell you what I'm not doing, and that's going to be goldfish. So goldfish for me, solid E tier, but koi, B tier. We're down to the last three here. Let's check out swordtails. This is kind of like swordtails and platies. Maybe you can throw mollies in there, although honestly, if it was mollies, I don't like as much as the swordtails and the platies. But I think this is a tough one. This is the first one I'm kind of between B and C tier. I'll go with B tier, maybe B minus. But I think swordtails are really cool. Platies, they're really nice. And if it wasn't for me collecting them personally in the wild a few weeks ago or a month or two ago now, I feel like I probably would have had them on C minus. But knowing that you can collect them in the wild, even though they're invasive here in Florida, but you have the wild sailfin molly, which is kind of a cool molly. I appreciate that molly more than like, you know, a Dalmatian molly in the store, to be honest, or a balloon molly. I won't get into balloon fish. Pretty much any balloon fish, a balloon style of a fish is going to be E tier or F tier. You know, I don't mess with a balloon fish. It's not my style. But yeah, I like the swordtails and the platy, so solid B tier. We're down to the last two. We got shrimp and betta fish. We'll go shrimp. Shrimp, in my opinion, S tier. Not because S for shrimp, but literally like shrimp are freaking awesome. Like you can keep them on your desk at work. You can keep them in your bedroom. You can keep them with no filter. You can keep them in the summertime in a freaking tub at 90 degrees. You can keep them in the wintertime in a tub at 40 degrees. They're hardy, they're cheap, they come in different colors, they're prolific, their ease of use is off the charts. In my opinion, shrimp are just on a different tier by themselves, special, super shrimp tier, whatever you want to call it. Neocaridina especially, Caridina, whatever they're called. They're awesome too, clearly, or not clearly, but they're a little more difficult to keep. But in my opinion, cherry shrimp, S tier, without a doubt. That's something that, you know, I feel strongly about. Betta fish, this may trigger some people. Betta fish are a fish that's very, very colorful, can be bred fairly easily, fairly cheap. In my opinion, a lot of people may make the case they kind of have them up here. Betta fish, they're C for me. I mean, they're cool, but they just don't really get it going for me. They're just kind of an average fish. You know, they come in cool different colors. I don't get into like the super crazy expensive ones and the jeans, and I don't know, maybe I'm a beta hater. I don't think C tier is, like I said, a bad tier. That's with clown loaches, and in my opinion, I like clown loaches. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, shout out to Fish for Thought. He did one of these for fish. I'll link his down below if you want to check his out. Hope you enjoyed this little something different in this video. Appreciate you guys watching. As always, stay positive and stay passionate.